senators who felt like he did. They knew how bad it was for their states, but they didn't have the courage, they didn't have the backbone to vote with the people of their states. They voted in obeisance to Donald Trump and his billionaire buddies because, as one of the senators said, we are all afraid, speaking of the Republican senators. One other thing of note, after the back and forth we saw the past 30 hours, those backroom deals, sweetheart negotiations, we found out that Senate Democrats successfully fought a provision that the Senate Republicans were using to try and get Senator Murkowski's vote. The Medicaid provision in question was a handwritten parenthetical notation, not even disclosed to the Dems, that created a special new preference for Alaska. We fought and we won. This is a polar payoff, and it should not have stood, and it didn't. And let me say this. On the Republican side, when the bill passed, there was a bit of somberness that I don't think was expected. And that's because they knew deep in their hearts how bad this bill is for them, their states, and the Republican Party. They knew that following Trump would be a very, very bad move for the good of the country and for the Republican Party. When people start losing their Medicaid, when they start losing their jobs, when their electric bills go up, when their premiums go up, when kids and parents lose SNAP funding, the people of America will remember this.
If he's talking to the people of America and all these SNAP benefits and Medicaid and all this, then we're in a horrible goddamn place. We shouldn't be in a place where everybody's on the welfare. Why don't we just stop paying taxes and just take care of our own damn selves? I mean, we are relying on the government to govern. And all the Democrats want to do is give welfare out to everybody. And all the Republicans want to do is give welfare out to everybody who they like. Different levels of shit. But if I was in a position of power and people come to you with things that they could negotiate, have shit that they can put on the table and say, hey, look, man, help us out in this way and we can hook you up in that way. And it might be selfish, it might be personal, whatever reason the person in power, Trump right now, is moving the way he's moving. Does he have the best interest of the country at heart? No. Do the Democrats? No. Everybody just got a different way of depleting what we got going on over here. And the United States citizens of America are the ones suffering bad. And they both know it. Schumer want to get up there and whine and cry and let us know how good it is to be poor and how hard we should fight, because obviously we ain't been fighting hard enough to get more of these government benefits in the poor areas, to keep us on the government's, I guess, jurisdiction. It keeps us under their control. It keeps us needing them. It keeps us looking bad out there. And then the same party wants to introduce a bunch of illegal immigrants by the millions. And they expect us to just chill with them. And they come into our communities, and within a few months, they owning shit. And we just supposed to be okay with that. And now we're in a different phase. They're not taking over our communities anymore. We're being pushed out of our communities and scattered all over the place. And that just is what it is. It's whether you like it or don't like it. That's exactly what's happening. And Schumer expects that Democrats are going to do better, that Democrats had a better plan than the big, beautiful bill. The big, beautiful bill. And it passed. And once again, the Democrats got to get on the mic and eat crow and cry and whine like we all been tricked. Oh, this bill just passed because you guys been tricked. They pulling fast ones on you. Trump made it clear. He wants to extend these tax cuts to the rich to the point of permanency. And people knew that before. They knew those parts that the bill that they are crying and whining about the loudest are the worst parts of the bill. Because if there were any worse parts, we'd be hearing about them too. Now, I'm not saying these parts ain't bad, but what do the Democrats have to offer? And when you only have one other choice and they don't want to make a viable third party, it's going to have to happen. A People's Party is going to rise up and do something to oppose these two, because they just playing with us. They just joking around out here, trying to get us to fight hard and side with the Democrats, to be poor, to be relying on a government that another guy can come in and decide y'all ain't getting that no more. And we like, oh no, give us the ability and the opportunity to build something for ourselves that we don't have to keep going back each year, each president, and get it renewed and get it approved and have it debated. Our livelihoods. Medical for the United States citizens should be free. There should be a public system for illegal immigrants and people who don't fall under U.S. citizen, especially since they bringing them in by the millions. How can you expect to put all these people in this country and expect our quality of life not to diminish? And then you expect to get up there and make us think that the big, beautiful bill ain't that beautiful? It probably ain't. I bet it's beautiful for somebody. And the people who I know and the people who I consider to be my peers and in my class economically don't benefit from what the Democrats is selling. And they damn sure don't benefit from this big, beautiful bill. But I'm a little middle of the road on it, because I need to see, now that it is passed, it just seems like the Democrats are running a little behind schedule with the destruction of this country at the hands of Trump. I thought their predictions were going to show us a little more destruction and devastation by this point. Now that he has gotten the linchpin of his presidency passed through the Senate, the big, beautiful bill has passed. And now we're going to see if the Democrats are lying to us. Remember, you guys, this big, beautiful bill is supposed to be basically Project 2025 in a nutshell. So we should see the unraveling, the kingmanship of a president, and all these other things that the Democratic Party tried to scare us with. And if none of this stuff comes to pass, then these kind of scare tactics need to be called out, and they need to move on and start talking to us like adults and quit the bullshit. Because it's really getting old, and to keep running us in the same circles. Look at Schumer. He's too old to be doing this shit anyway. Why don't he step down? Wouldn't it be better with a nice young guy in his maybe 50s, 60s, even 40s? Hell, if he's exceptional, his damn 30s. We just need new, fresh blood. We need new ideas. And we need people who take the Constitution seriously and who don't try to manipulate it and bend it and twist it to where it favors them. And both sides are guilty of that. But as of right now, the big, beautiful bill is passed. Now, what the Democrats going to do? What is their response? They have one last hope. This man has been in office 6 months, and he has been kicking ass since he's been in there, and the Democrats haven't been able to do anything. And their only hope now is the midterms. If they get blown out in the midterms and the Republicans are able to keep a majority in either house or both houses, even by a tiny margin, the Democrats can just go sit on their hands. We don't need them. They don't want to change, so they can just stay over there. If they're willing to change, they might garner some support. They might get some folks who are Trump supporters just because they got nothing else. And right now, what Trump is selling might look better than what the Democrats are selling. But it's going to have to go down. It's going to have to be figured out. And we going to have to be given a broader array of choices. This duopoly shit ain't working, and I hope that generations to come are more intelligent when it comes to politics. I hope they get more involved and really understand the power that they have and how they can shape the country that they live in. And they don't have to live in communities that are set up by politicians who have a complete different plan than what the majority of the people in that population would like to see happen. Not to just force something upon them and then expect them to just accept it. That's how politics in the United States goes. Oh, they'll be all right. Trump's doing the same thing with his big, beautiful bill. That big, beautiful bill. Who would name that shit the big, beautiful bill? You got to be like Donald Trump. But it passed. And people, oh, but they only voted for it because they don't want to get primaried. Do you know how many Democrats have voted for things because they don't want to get primaried? You don't want to lose your job. Vote for something that's unpopular to your people, and you're going to get primaried, or you're going to be at high risk of getting primaried. As you should. That's how politics work. If somebody do something and you don't like what they did, you got to go run against them, or you got to find somebody who can run against them and beat them. Or you got to cause them some discomfort. They can't just be going against your beliefs, your ideas, and your bills, and then nothing happened to them. Trump's letting them know. You getting primaried and there will be some folks getting primaried. The Democrats feel that this big, beautiful bill scare, unfortunately, has passed too early. Because now we got a long time to the midterms, and all the Democrats can do is pray for destruction. Pray that the country does worse than it's ever done before. That's the only way that party can rise, is for the country to sink.
Vote. The American people will remember the Republican betrayal, and Americans will pay the price for this perfidy for generations. Generations. So, we Democrats fought very, very hard. We won a remarkable number of cases with the parliamentarian over and over and over again. We broke through with the American people, who by a 2-to-1 margin don't like this bill. And because of our relentless focusing on a simple, unified message, billionaires win, families lose, that the Republicans are taking away your health care to give a tax break to billionaires, it has sunk in with the American people, and it will remain.
Will the big, beautiful bill make illegal immigrants ineligible for medical care? If that is the segment of the population that's going to lose some medical care here in this country, that might not be such a bad thing. Unfortunately for those people, they won't have health care, but maybe it will make our politicians figure out their status and do something about it. Why don't Donald Trump just be the president? Everybody think he a big old racist, and he is. But why don't he kind of give somebody some things to think about, like granting amnesty? That'd be the last thing in the world they think he'd do. Just say, fuck it. You guys are here, and everybody who's here right now, we about to tighten this shit down. We're about to not waste another penny on deporting anybody. If you're from the Philippines, if you're from wherever the hell you from, grant amnesty across the board. Just fuck it. Put the paperwork out. Get these employers to get their people completely filled in properly. Get their tax numbers. Let's get it cracking the right way. And the wages are going up. That's just the way it got to be. Because right now, the Democrats keep trying to drag us into poverty. And the only way we're going to get out of poverty is if we get this immigration shit figured out. And the only way to get that figured out is to let them in. Fuck it. They here. Now, the gate's closing. We're not going to leave it open so you can just keep on bringing people over and everybody claiming political asylum and all that. No. The line for political asylum is going to be real short. And we need to do it as a country. We need to quit working against our own government when laws are in place and they come in to enforce them. It just is the way it is. If you living in an authoritarian country and you don't feel comfortable here and you have the means to buy a plane ticket to flee, go up to Canada or leave. If you feel that having an illegal immigrant invited into your country and given the same benefits as poor people who are citizens, that's just not right. And nobody in our government on either side is trying to make it right. They're just, little scoring political points and playing games with each other. And what happens to us in the meantime?
And our battle is not over. We're going to be fighting in July and August and throughout the year, reminding Americans when their hospitals close, when their health insurance is cut off, when their friends lose their jobs because clean energy has been so decimated. They'll remember. We will make sure of that. Questions?
But my question is, why do you have to remind the American public of how bad things are? You don't have to remind us of anything. If this shit fall apart because of the big, beautiful bill, you ain't got to remind us of anything. And it isn't like a feather in your cap because you are psychic and you was able to see into the future. Donald Trump can, and all the other presidents can make any bill they want that affects us economically, socially, or in any other kind of way. And all they got to do with the voting of Congress, which I'll get back to in just a second, the Congress talk, I got something to say about them. But all the president has to do is put it on the deficit. Just put it on the deficit. And our deficit goes from 37, like I think they say now, is going to go to about $40 trillion over the next 10 years. That's a lot of money. But we ain't going to feel that right now. That's how they do it. Whatever they want, up the defense spending, he don't want to up medical for poor people. Trump doesn't. He's going to offset it some other way. Obama's way was to take a bunch of poor people and make the middle class pay for their health care, which dragged down the quality of health care in general in this country. That's the Democrats' way. They felt that it was the proper way. Obviously, it's starting to affect people to the point that their policies suck. So they get voted out. Not only the executive branch, not only the House, but the Senate. And in the process, they have slipped significantly in the Supreme Court. That's a shutout. And all the Republicans have to do is work together and agree on some things, and they can transform this country like the Democrats have been telling us, Project 2025. Well, shit, if you lose every house, including the Supreme Court, if you get your ass whipped that bad, the country's going to change. Do you think they're going to beat you on every front and then not change and get voted out like you did? Trump's bold moves are ambitious, to say the least. But if he feel that's the direction he want to go at 79 years old or whatever damn old he is, he ain't going to see the repercussions of some of this stuff, and he knows it. But he's doing what he's doing. And now, back to the Senate. He's got the Senate voting in his favor. Narrowly. He had to put his vice president to make it happen. Put his thumb on the scale. But it passed. It passed. So now, what do you say now that the Senate Democrats, I'm speaking to you. What do you say now when everybody was saying, he's a king, he's just trying to change the country, and he's running right by Senate. They're not listening. They're not hearing anything. They're not even opposing him. That's checks and balances. It's only checks and balances if they oppose. Then they can slow him down. Hey, wait, hold up. We want to vote on that. But they ain't voting on anything that they like. They're like, okay, just keep doing it. Now they got to a point where they have to vote, and they have spoken. And I didn't even think that they would hold together. And this, believe me, it's falling apart. It's real close. But that was it. That he got that big, beautiful bill. I think he would choose his big, beautiful bill over winning in the midterm. If he lose some seats in the midterms or whatever, he's still holding down the executive branch. He could veto a bunch of stuff. That don't stress him out as much as the passage of that is huge. And Schumer is being not completely honest with how huge it is, because that just is like a big old hammer fist on top of the Democrats' head. They're like, ow, whoa.
Yes.
How will you make sure of that? We already have Phil saying he's not running for re-election. Now you have the Republican senators, a list of them who did vote for this. What is your strategy?
We're going to be in their states in every way. We are going to organize. We are going to have all the people who are hurt organized. You're going to see a constant battle in those states, reminding people day in and day out of what happened. And that's going to be we Democrats in the Senate. It's going to be all of the groups who were hurt so badly. It's going to be just average folks. You saw how many people marched last month. There'll be many more marches, many more protests against this big, ugly betrayal. Yes?
Mr. Chairman, why did you strike the name one big beautiful bill? And is it your hope that it irritates President Trump?
I didn't even think of President Trump. I thought of the truth. This is not a beautiful bill. Anyone who loses their health insurance doesn't think it's beautiful. Any worker in clean energy industry who loses their job does not think it's beautiful. Any mom who can't feed her kid on $5 a day doesn't think it's beautiful. We wanted the American people.
I don't care which way they go with this energy at this point. They need to make up their mind, because I was prepared over the next few years to get my first electric vehicle. But then when Trump won, I'm like, oh no, I'm waiting. And I have my house ain't old or nothing, but I have a little thing about roof leaks. And being a homeowner, that's a huge concern of mine. And when it rained in the region that I live in, it come down. And I would hate to get solar panels put on my roof, and then they have some issue with that, that costs me way more money than what I'm saving in this energy thing. And especially if they shut down the electric, or going toward the electric grid and start heading back to fossil fuels. It's like, oh shit. We want to kind of run in place for a second and figure out what the heck is going on. Because I really felt Biden was taking us in the direction of the renewables, and the solar panels and all of that of that kind of stuff. And now here we are. But I never felt too good about solar panels, just because the physical damage. If you have a tiled roof, they get brittle over the years, and I don't know about drilling and sawing on them would be the best thing, but I ain't no roofer. But I want to really wait and see what direction they're going with this energy, because energy bills are too high. And then these people talk about your energy bills are going to go higher than this. Really? Damn, scary. I mean, we got so many issues in so many different regions of the country with water and energy. It's they're doing a horrible job. And they got a guy who everybody calls a clown and a dummy, and he come up with little catchy terms for bills that everybody say are horrific. The big beautiful bill, and they're like, it's horrific, and then it passes. It's like, damn. These people that's the Democrats saying that the Republican Congress, the Republican members of Congress are more scared of Trump than their love and loyalty for the country. They basically, that's what the Democrats are saying. I'm not saying whether that's true or not, or even I would entertain that, but that's what they're saying. Oh no, they're just scared of Trump. That's all. They don't like the bill either, but they're scared of him. It's like, wow, that's quite a statement to make, and a terrible assessment of your opponent, who you all work so closely with. You think they'd have, higher thoughts of them than that, but
People to know the truth. Yes.
I just spoke with Dan Sullivan, and he said that the Republicans tried 4 times to get the FMAP for Alaska, the special FMAP, FMAP Alaska through the parliamentarian. It was rejected 4 times, and he said that they doubled the rural hospital fund. Can you walk through that process?
Yeah, the Rural Hospital Fund is a fig leaf. It's putting a Band-Aid on an amputation. $50 billion when $1 trillion is cut in health care? Give me a break. They know it. They know that that money is not going to cover so many of the people who lose their jobs and so many of the hospitals close. It's not enough. But the right-wing MAGA people didn't want.
I really believe it is enough. I don't believe that those cuts are too drastic in health care. Now, I don't agree with the tax cuts, but I'm not talking about the tax cuts right now. I'm talking about the medical cuts. Just for a second. I believe that the amount of money that's being cut in healthcare wouldn't affect the direct coverage to the people at all, except that the Democrats have taken a system that was supposed to be there to help poor citizens of the United States and piled a bunch of illegal immigrants on it, making administrative cost and administrative intervention a lot higher than it should be. And then what do we get for it? What do we get? Worse health care, being potentially kicked off health care because the cuts that may be made, some of them shouldn't be not with the direct medical treatment and of the patient. That's the problem that we have, is that we are okay with, oh no, we're going to cut the medical, and then people in offices lose their job. They ain't got a drop of blood on them. They ain't help nobody. So, nah. Let's see what this cut do. The Democrats got a long time between now and the midterms, as I have stated previously. And they better damn sure hope they ain't exaggerating like I think they are. Because there's no way that anything that's done with the... Can you imagine if you get to go to a mall, buy your kids a whole bunch of stuff that you really can't afford. On the way back, you go, oh man, my wife gonna get mad. So you stop by a jewelry store and get her a gold bracelet with diamonds just bling, bling, blinging. And you come in the house bearing gifts. And everybody like, hey, what's up, Pops? You be like, I got something for y'all. Now they know you ain't got no damn money. But you passing out gifts and your wife is like, oh my God, how are you doing this? And the one thing your wife and your kids don't know is that no matter how much money you spend that day, you got an uncle who told you, you just go ahead and have fun with it. And I'm going to put it back, and you straight. It ain't going to cost you a dime. That's what Trump is doing. That's what all our presidents do. They just shower different segments of the population with gifts. I like Trump's type gifts. I like to see a billionaire getting a tax cut. I like to see that kind of stuff, rather than see just poor people losing their health care. What have the Democrats ever gave us that's getting taken away from us that's really like something that other people would say, wow, I really wish I had that? Not health care. That's a basic right and a basic need that we have to struggle and fight and bite our nails to pray that they don't let the Republicans take it away. And then we supposed to hate them and not the party that we're voting for. You should hate the party that you're voting for. They're there to defend you. They're there to fight for you because you can't. And then when they can't and they lose the fight, they want you to get mad at the other person. The other person's doing what they're supposed to do. Having victories, winning votes, having control, being in power. And we supposed to be mad at them. We should be mad at our party for not having better ideas. We should be mad at the Congressional Black Caucus for not waking up and relinquishing their seats, and every other member of Congress and the Supreme Court. Anybody black in this country who knows how we've been done should step down. They worried about the big, beautiful bill. We need a big black bill. Is what we need. And you guys need to step down and form your own, not party, because that's going a bit far, and it's not going to get us anywhere. A party would just be a small bunch of people like the Independent Party or the Green Party, only smaller and blacker. So you know where that's going. We don't want it. What I think we should have is for them to step down and just form a lobby. And we just need to lobby Congress, just like everybody else in this country who has some sense and wants to see progress. They don't try to get deeper into the fabric of the government. That's not the way to change it. The way to change it is to understand the power and the strength that you have and use it. And use it. We'll never have to talk about reparations again if we just use the power that we have appropriately and quit getting tricked and used. That's just the bottom line. I mean, we can continue playing this game with the Democrats if we want, but they'll never let us go. We have to leave.
They wanted to slash Medicare, they wanted to slash Medicaid, and they also were unwilling to do what the more mainstream people want. So they came up with this fig leaf. It's not going to work. The American Hospital Association, who runs the hospitals, came out against it because they thought it was a fake.
Could you talk a little bit more about
Well, let me go to other people.
Leader Schumer, with the soft cap being extended and if the tax cuts are extended too, will your constituents benefit from that, though?
Look, the bottom line is my constituents are going to be hurt dramatically. New York has 7 million odd people, 7 million plus people on Medicaid. They're going to get hurt.
I don't care how many people we got on Medicaid. If we have illegal immigrants on Medicaid, and I'm just going to say for the state of California, and Donald Trump cuts all federal funding, and the state of California still has illegal immigrants on that system, then that means that they are saying, citizens of California, you're going down with the immigrants. We don't have enough money for the system. If we take them off, we will. But we're not going to do that because they deserve the same right to medication and medicine as you do. Then there's no right of being a United States citizen. And it's a big reach for the Democratic Party to take the people who voted them into office and to do that to them right in their face. And for us not to be mad about it. And for us to be distracted because of the big, beautiful bill. The big, beautiful bill passed. And they mad. I'd be mad, shit. But I'm not mad because I want to see the effect. I want to see what it's going to do. Because I've been hearing all this stuff. Oh, no, it's the big ugly bill. So whatever. What is it going to do for us and what are they going to do for us? Just point out, see, look, that ain't going good. Look, that's failing. And look at that over there. That ain't going too hot either. We don't need them for that. We can figure that shit out ourselves. While they think they're tour guiding us through this debacle, what they could be doing is over there navigating their own way, coming up with some good ideas that we might fucking like. But they know that shit ain't gonna happen.
New York has hundreds of thousands of people on SNAP. They're going to get hurt. New York has tens of thousands of clean energy jobs. Many of them will be gone. They're going to get hurt. So this bill is very bad for New York and very bad for America. It's bad for every state. Ask Tom Tillis. Yes.
That's my question. Is Tom Tillis?
Ask Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis is a Republican. When did Democrats start sending their people to Tom Tillis for direction? Oh, you don't believe me? Go ask Tom Tillis. Who the fuck is Tom Tillis? Tom Tillis ain't, that's not a person you want to send your people to. You should have the answers. You shouldn't have to defer to anybody. At this point, the goddamn bill done passed. And you tell me, you don't believe me? Go ask Tom Tillis. Fuck Tom Tillis.
Was he helpful for you in 2026 midterms, giving a floor speech and all the statements that he's made about this bill?
Well, Tillis spoke truth to power. Unfortunately, not any other Republicans had the courage to do that. But obviously what Tillis said is true. And it's not just him who said it, it's lots of people who said it. But of course, what Tom Tillis said will reverberate around America, and we're going to make sure of that. Yes.
You mentioned taking this to voters. Do you believe that this bill, if it becomes law, will help your party flip the majority? And can I also get your reaction to Colin Allred running in Texas?
Okay. On the first one, look, we didn't do this for electoral purposes. We did this because we passionately believe how bad this is. That's motivated us. And again, as you saw on the floor, all during the debate, we were on our front foot. We were filled with enthusiasm. The Republicans.
It barely passed. It was a 50-50 tie, and the vice president had to come in and break the tie. I'm just saying, if I was a member of the Senate and I was a Democrat, I felt black people should have done it, but somebody should have went to Trump and been like, look, this might not pass. You got to, even kiss a few people's ass on your side of the aisle to get this to pass. So what we going to do is we as the Democrats is going to work with you. If your bill might pass, it might not pass, but we know that if you're willing to add something to it that might benefit us, take some of the heat off of the Medicare and the SNAP that they seem to be so damn worried about. They don't want to lose their poor people. If they lose the SNAP and the Medicaid and all that stuff, people are going to figure it out somehow, some way. And then they're going to be like, shit, this is a whole lot more steady and a whole lot more reliable than that SNAP and a WIC and all that bullshit. So they don't want us to ever be put in a position to have to push ourselves to discover something better than what they're laying out on a plate, for us. And we're supposed to be like, just glad that we don't have to go do anything for it. But they're also making it all inclusive for everybody and anybody. And that's where the problem lies, because everybody and anybody ain't putting into these systems that they're getting out of through their tax. And that's a horrible thing that he's okay with that. That bothers me a great deal.
Republicans weren't. They were defensive throughout the debate. And as I said, even when the bill passed, there was a little bit of somberness there because they know how bad it is. But will it affect the elections? Well, that's what America's all about. When something as big and ugly and betraying as this passes, of course it'll be an issue in the election. I'm not going to comment on the Texas race. Yep.
You talked a lot about the precedents that Leader Thune and Republican leadership broke in this process, especially with current policy baseline. Can you talk a little bit about your willingness to use that going forward when you win?
Look, what they did, as I said, eroded the Senate in a dramatic way. And they should be ashamed of themselves. Yes?
Back to Senator Tillis. Do you think Democrats see him as a potential ally? Are you going to try to work with him more in the future?
Look, the man was a truth speaker, and I respect that. And I'm not going to talk about using him or anything else. He spoke the truth, and America is hearing it. Last one.
House Democrats have far fewer options than Senate Democrats do when it comes to stalling legislation. What are you advising House Democrats to do this week?
I'm urging every House Democrat to vote no, and I'm urging Republican House members. We have 6 in New York. This bill clobbers New York. If they vote for it, they're betraying New York. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, he's betraying New York. They have got us put in that spot that they want to keep us in. They want us to believe that without Medicaid from the government and all these other, welfare type programs, without them, we got to feel so low of ourselves that there's just no way we're going to make it. That the Democrats are the reason for our existence and our survival and our wonderful health care, I might add. Please. It's an embarrassment. And it's really a shame that they don't know better now. That they don't just know that we know that they be bullshitting. They don't care. They don't care. And the Republicans, they don't care either, but they just passed the big, beautiful bill. They are way more compelling right now because they are the party in power. And you can talk about how they're scaring their people. Ooh, we're going to primary you. And they're backing down and they're cowards and they're not patriots. You hear a lot of that. The bottom line is the guy who was voted into the White House had an agenda, and his agenda is passing. And according to what the Democrats told us, and I wish that now that they're up there talking to us, that they would continue to pound the Project 2025 agenda that Donald Trump is implementing on us, and continue to remind us of that. That seems to have gone away. And that was a pretty serious and heavy talking point. And I think it's something that they should double down on if they meant it. And if this is what we're experiencing is Project 2025. Is it, or were they lying? I don't know. I really do know. They lying. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe. And we'll see you on the we'll see you on the next Black Popcorn.